Hello, hello. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm going live in the right place. I was supposed to go live last night, and Facebook was not having any of it. So we are going to try again. It's hard, getting a little chilly. All right, so let's see. Sweet. Okay, cool. Well, I am Brittany May of Simply Happy Life, and let me know who's on or if you're catching the replay. And I'd love to hear like where everyone's watching from, because I know this is a really huge group and everyone's kind of from everywhere. So I'm actually in Germany right now, so it is noon our time, so I know it's probably kind of a weird time depending where you're at. So let me know. I would love to see and talk to you guys. And today I'm going to be talking all about following the money, and we're going to break down our money and time grid and basically show you where the sweet spot is in business and how to get there, right? So I feel like that's pretty important. So we're going to go ahead and hop right in, but just a brief background. I'm a digital strategist, so basically I'm just a giant systems nerd, and that's kind of how my brain works. I love being able to like streamline and simplify things and funnels and sales machines. Like that's what I love doing. So I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And instead of bragging about how much time you put in your business, I love bragging about how little of time you can do it in. So if that sounds like you, then say hi and we will jump right in. So let's see. So I am visual. I think it always helps everybody to be able to like see things. So hopefully if you're like me, then this will help you out. But we're gonna start off with I call it my money and time grid, okay? And it's basically just how much time and how much money you're making in your business. And we're gonna kind of take it from there. So let me make sure, okay. You guys can see this. Is that a good spot? Okay, so we're gonna start over here. So those are little clocks. So this represents like a lot of time. And then as you progress this way, it's less time. Okay, so we're going from a lot of time to a little time. And then same thing with up here. We're gonna have lots of money at the top and a little money at the bottom. Okay, so that's our easy peasy time grid. And we are going to, so each of these columns represents like a different type of entrepreneur, and feel free to jump in if you're like, oh, that one's me. And we'll talk about where you want to get to be. Okay, so the people that are not spending a whole lot of time and they're not making a whole lot of money, I call them the dabblers, right? They're really not in, but they're not putting much out either, so it's kind of like meh. So maybe that's you if you're just getting started in business and you're kind of like testing things out, feeling things out, if you like it or not. But if you're in this group and you're wanting to get more involved in business, then most likely that's not you, right? I feel like we're not going to have very many dabblers. So the next column, section rather, is when you're spending a lot of time, but you're not making a lot of money, okay? And this is what I call an expensive hobby. Ouch. Okay, and I see so many entrepreneurs get stuck in this section, right? They're spending all their time and all their energy and their heart and their souls, and they're just not making enough money, okay? And this is, it's not a good place to be. We don't want you to get stuck there. And 9 times out of 10, the problem with this is that they are trading dollars for hours, right? So that's when you've hit your own glass ceiling, okay? Because there's only so many hours in the day, right? And once you cap that, then that's it, and you're tapped out, and that's not good. And maybe also another problem is that you're not charging enough too, and so that's another ouch, okay? So that's the expensive hobby section where you're just tons and tons of time and not a whole lot of money. Okay, so then up here is when you're putting in a whole bunch of time and you're making a whole bunch of money. So good, but not great, right? So this is kind of burnout city, right? Because you can only do that for so long. So maybe you're stuck in those life launches and you're dependent on that and you're just worn out. This is where I definitely was in my first business. I had a chain of 6 brick and mortar stores that were all mine, and it was all I did was work around the clock. Nights, weekends, holidays, you name it. It was retail. I was working and I was burnt out. Okay, so like money was good, time not so much. All right, and then I'm going to do a different color because it's important. This last grid up here, so you're making lots of money, but you're putting in minimum time. This is the sweet spot, right? Bloop. Okay, so that's where most of us want to be, okay? So we're going to talk about how, whatever section you're stuck in or you're overwhelmed in, we're going to get you to here, okay? The sweet spot. That's what we want. So like we talked about, dabblers, I'm not really going to touch on them too much because they're not really serious, and that's why they're not putting time in, and they're also not getting money out. So it's kind of like, meh, whatever, okay? The expensive hobby people, it's just not scalable. Okay, so you can't stay stuck there. Likes, follows, you know, those don't pay the bills. So like the money is the oxygen of your business. So we need to get super comfortable not only talking about money, but asking for money, right? Because that is the oxygen, that's a lifeline of your business. Business, I think, should be fun, but it also needs to function and work as a business, right? So money is the oxygen. And now time, and this is where I feel like so many entrepreneurs get this wrong. They are wasting all their time rather than spending money on certain things, on certain solutions, right? They'll like pull their hair out trying to figure out how to code a website or whatever that is to piece together a funnel when they don't know what they're doing and it's stressful. And they're throwing their hours and their days down the drain. And to me, time is infinitely more valuable than money, right? We can always make more money. We don't get more time. And if you're like me, I'm a mom. I've got 2 littles that are home, and they're my everything, right? I'm a mom. So they're the ones I want to spend time with my family. I'm passionate and I love business and I love what I do, but I don't want it to be all that I do, right? I want to work and create a life that I can actually enjoy. Because before, when I was stuck out in Burnout City, it didn't look like that. All I did was work. And then I was missing out on those key milestone moments and everything with my children and my family. And it's like, what's the point? Like, that's how I got it. It was like, what's the point, right? So you definitely remember, time is your most valuable asset, okay? But we want to get to the sweet spot. So let's talk about how we're gonna do that, okay? And I broke it down into 4 simple steps. I'm all about easy, like breakdown, everything's breakdown, and then take action, right? Because nothing should be super overwhelming. We want business to be easy and fun and simple. Okay, so we have 2 questions that we're gonna do. So we are going to follow the money, but first we have 2 questions that we need to ask in order to do that. So we are going to ask number 1, where? And number 2, what? Okay, so where is the money coming from? Seems like a simple question, right? But we're gonna go into that. And this is the one I'm gonna focus on today because 1, I have 30 minutes and that's not a whole lot of time. And 2, I feel like they are 2 very, very separate things. So that's a different training, okay? So we're gonna focus on where today. So where is that money coming from? So I have little characters that I always use in my business, call them Manual Millie and Automatic Annie, and I bet you can guess which one we want to be. But we've got Manual Millie today, okay? So I'm gonna draw her up here, so hopefully you can see this. So here's Manual Millie. La la la, beautiful hair. Okay, So we've got Manual Millie, and we need to break down where her money is coming from. So then we can move on to the next step, right? So we want to list out all the streams, right? And figure out where that's coming from. So let's say so we've got Manual Millie, she's over here, she's blogging. She writes, she spends a lot of the time, like we talked about, a lot of the time this side on blogging. So that's a blog. You know what in the world I'm talking about. Okay, and then she has friends and family members that support her because your family's awesome. So that's cool. Over here, she's on Instagram. Okay, here she's in Facebook groups like this one. Okay, so we're gonna put Facebook. I'm gonna put, three groups. Okay. Facebook groups. Okay. Oh, what else is she doing? She's also posting on Facebook she's got a business page, she's got a personal page, right? So we're gonna just put regular Facebook over here, because that's two separate things, people. Okay, and then her website that she's always, right? She's pulling her hair out trying to figure out her website, okay? So she's got all these things going on. Let's say another friend. Woohoo! Supported her. Okay, so she's got clients. She's good, but she's maybe here or she's here, right? She's spending way too much time doing all these things. So she's got an income going. She has a business, right? But she's capped out. She's tapped out on her time, and she doesn't know how to make any more money. So here's where Manual Millie, is at, okay? So we are gonna break down, now that we've identified where everything's going, we're gonna cross out, and I get like cutthroat, you guys. We're gonna cross out anything that is not directly money related. So let's do the green first, okay? So let's say for Manual Millie, for this one, so she had this family member supported her and bought whatever she sold. So let's say she's a health coach. So her family member came and it's like, hey, I know you're amazing at this. I'm gonna buy from you. So that's one. So we've got family is one source. And then over here, a friend. She has awesome friends. So that was another source of money, okay? So over there. And let's say Facebook group like this one. She connected with somebody that needed exactly what she had, and bam, client, right? Okay, so here, Facebook group. So let's say those were the three for her month. She only had three. Okay, so we've identified all these. So this is where you can really like identify your holes, because I guarantee you, like almost every single time, my clients have gaping holes and you don't even realize it. And I know this picture is like super silly, but it just gives you a visual of like what's going on behind the scenes. So look, so she's spending all her time on all these things and it's not producing profit. And that's when you wind up in one of these two categories and you can't cross over to here, okay? So we are gonna get cutthroat and we're gonna drop anything that is not directly tied to the money, okay? So she is going to stop blogging. She can still bring in leads to all the stuff that she's already put her heart and her soul into, right? They're still up there. They don't need to go anywhere. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to be pumping out new content all the time, okay? So no more blog, that's off her plate. So let's look at website. It's good enough, right? Whatever she did, leave it, it's good. You can make a solid business without even having a website. So even having one, even if it's not completed or exactly the way you want it, it's fine, leave it, okay? Right now, when she's burnt out and not enough time, that's not a priority, okay? So it gets crossed off the list. So what else? Her Facebook. Bye-bye, not working. So we don't really care. And let's say, I forgot one thing. So let's say she got questions here. So she had some DMs. I'm gonna put it in orange. She had some DMs on Instagram, but nothing converted, okay? Because that's what we're looking for right now, is we're following the actual money, and nothing converted. So they weren't customers. So this is a good one to keep note of, because then when you've gone through and you've automated and delegated and streamlined and done all the fancy stuff that you're supposed to be doing to the profit producing task, then you can go back through and look, you already know what's going to be runner up. You already know what's going to happen next, okay? So then she can pour when she opens up that time and her schedule, then she can start doing that one next. Because she's like, ooh, that one had potential, right? So, but for now, for today's lesson, no more Instagram, okay? We don't care about it right now. Okay, so we have identified 3 sources of where the money is coming from. And look, Manuel, Millie, we've got holes, right? So she was reaching out, she was doing great in Facebook groups, but her family and her friends, just because they love her, they bought from her. She didn't do anything for it, right? So it just like basically fell in her lap, and she's over here crossing her fingers, hoping it's gonna happen again. It's not, you guys. So that's when we need to go in and break down tasks and make them. That's when you build them into systems and you make it a repeatable system, okay? So we've got the Facebook groups. I'm gonna write them over here. Okay, so 1, Facebook groups. 2 was family. 3, there it goes, friends, okay? So those are the 3 sources that Millie had for the month, the year, the quarter, whatever it is in your business that she's gonna focus on, okay? So she's going to then come up with steps. We then want to take this a step further and go in and create steps to create systems in your business where you know you can do it again and again, okay? So in here, Facebook groups. Well, what did I do? Well, I searched for, health people that were looking for a specific problem that I know I can solve. And then I went and gave them value. Or maybe I offered them my freebie, or I directed them to the blog post that I wrote like 5 months ago that still offers amazing value, right? So she's gonna go and create a system that she goes and does those things. So guess what? Every morning she's gonna wake up and she's gonna know exactly what she needs to do. And she's focusing and pouring her time and her energy into tasks that convert into cash. Rather than spending 5 hours on a blog that no one was reading, she's gonna go and connect in Facebook groups. And now look, family, friends, what can we do with that? Okay, so we need to break them down into steps. These ones, maybe they just fell in her lap, or maybe she talked about it, or maybe she just simply asked, right? Sometimes it's as simple as just asking, like, hey guys, I do this thing. If you know anyone that would benefit from it, could you share, please, right? Your family and friends love you, so they're probably gonna help you out, right? But you just gotta let them know. You gotta let them in on it. So maybe those have steps, and if they didn't, this is when you're gonna go back in and go through all these and figure out where you can optimize, okay? So how could I do this better? This already works, so I know I can get clients this way, but how can I increase that? How can I make that better, right? So that's when you go in and optimize. So maybe then she could search for other groups where she found those people and find similar ones to find more people and more clients that are going to be similar, another niche, and do the same thing, right? Or if it's a massive group like this one, maybe she's gonna just go in and pour her heart and soul in for more time rather than that one dinky conversation she had for that first one, right? Because she's no longer doing these other things that are stealing all her time. And that's how you start to move from these section over to the sweet spot, right? So hopefully that made sense. I know it was super quick, you guys, but I don't want to go over on time. But yes, so those are really simple ways to just kind of break out and map out where you're at in your business, and you follow the money. Like, numbers do not lie. So if you've done it once, then you're able to do it again. And that's where you need to be putting your energy, because so many entrepreneurs, and even here, are getting caught up in the things that don't matter. Because I know when I was in burnout, I had my hand in so many projects that I didn't need to be, right? And that's when you need to be having team and delegating out, and rather than getting caught up, right? You do not want to be your own glass ceiling, okay? Well, I hope that guys helped for you. And then if you guys are interested, we've got a Simply Scale program, like where this is just a drop in the bucket, but it's mainly for moms, because I know how busy you are. And like I said, time is my most precious asset. And so I do not want to ever waste anybody's time. So it's broken down into super, super manageable pieces. It's got trainings in 3 different phases, walk you through how to make a sales funnel and make you a lean, mean, money-making machine, because that's what it's all about. It's about scaling simply, okay? And it's with hands-on coaching, accountability partners, and it's a really, really neat system. So I dropped a link wherever it wound up, so you can go and check out and read more if that interests you. And that's all I've got. And hopefully next week I will be going live on Thursday if Facebook doesn't kick me out again. So if you guys liked this, feel free to DM me. But I'm going to talk about how you can start streamlining your processes, because like I said, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing next week, Thursday. It is 5 o'clock my time, which is Germany. So it's 12 now, if that helps you do the math, right? Okay, it's 12:30. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys today. It is now lunch, and I think I hear my little baby crying, so I need to go get her. But let me know if you guys are doing a replay. If you have any questions, tag me. Feel free to DM me. That's what I'm here for, and I'll see you guys in the group. So thank you guys. Bye-bye.